Good morning, everyone. It is January 30th, and it is Tuesday. And as I reported last week, I need to change my Facebook Lives to Tuesday. So I will be doing Tuesday from here on out. If you're on my email list, you'll get a notification about those. So if you'd like to join my email list and find out about what's going on in my stamping world, please let me know. And I will include the link for that on my video for today. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about Sale Bration and one of the new designer series papers that is a Sale Bration offering when you spend $50, and it is called the Trusty Tools designer series paper. So we're going to be making man cards today, and I would love to have had more time to make pink tools, so it would be a fun card for a lady as well, but unfortunately I ran out of time, so I just finished my man cards. I'm going to show you the paper really quick. I do love a designer series paper that makes it super easy to take. I don't have to stamp anything, I don't have to color anything, sometimes when you're in a hurry, and this paper coordinates with the Trusty Tools bundle, and there are dies in the tool bundle that coordinate with the things on the designer series paper. For example, there is a pencil die, obviously, that matches that. There is a wrench die that matches the wrench. It's a little farther down here. That cuts that wrench right out. There is a hammer die. And also a different wrench. I'm not a tool expert, so I'm not 100% sure what those wrenches are actually called. But you can run those through your stem cut embossing machine, or if you're Big Shot, if you still have one of those, and run those through, and it will die cut it. And there's also a paintbrush, which is on the other sheet of paper. Let me show you that one really quick, and it matches this paintbrush. So you can easily just run those through your die cutting machine, and you instantly have your pieces without much hassle. So there's the front of that one. The back of it is just a nice soft lost lagoon. It has a little bit of texture to it. You can see it almost looks like paint drying is what it reminds me of. And then there's a different set of tools, as I just showed you, along with a grid. And we all know that men like to draw things out before they actually build. That reminds me of the graph paper that I used way back in shop class in 8th grade. I still have visions of that. Screwdrivers, lots of screwdrivers, a great background piece. And then the other side of that is another sort of paint drying texture piece. And that one is gray granite. Colors in this are Poppy Parade and gray granite, crushed curry, and Poppy Parade, and Lost Lagoon. Hammers, let me turn that the right direction. Hammers and nails, a nice pattern. And then on the back is screw heads, Phillips and flathead, and little hex nuts. This one is one of my favorites, and I've seen some great cards made with this. It looks like the toolbox that my dad had when I was growing up, with the drawers, the gray drawers, in his shop. And then we've got more screws and screw heads, and then a great ruler piece. It's just like a ruler. And then this one looks like a pegboard that you would find on a shop wall. So this paper coordinates with the Trusty Tools bundle. And there's a couple of the stamps, and all of the dies match those as well. So if you want to stamp your own and color it and cut it out, you are absolutely welcome to do that. I'm going to take the easy route this morning and use pieces that I already die cut. So let's get started on our cards for today. Thanks for joining me if you're here live. Oh, let me show you really quick in the catalog, the paper. In the Sale Bration book, there's some examples, and that's kind of the tool cart that I was talking about, where it's got the silver lip where the drawer opens. So it is free when you spend $50, and it just happens that the Trusty Tools bundle is $54.75, so that's perfect. If you buy the bundle, you can get the paper for free, and it doubles the value of your purchase. And then there's a different pegboard type card, and the toolbox is also a fun die. I'm not using that today as well, but now we'll really get started. We're going to make a Father's Day card. It seems a little early to make Father's Day, but we're going to do it anyway. And any of the words could be switched around for any of these cards. So I cut a piece of the ruler paper, which is super fun. So I have a piece of that. I have a black panel, and I have die cut several things. I have the tape measure. There's the tape measure die. I have a hammer, and I have a pencil. I thought those all went with things where you measure and you do it. I also have cut a white stitch shaped circle, and I'm going to be attaching those pieces to that. And then there's no bows on today's projects, but you can see me struggle with the small little nuts and bolts that I die cut already. So those are there. So yeah, that'll be fun. I'm going to start with my panel. Go ahead and attach that together. I just cut a small border because I didn't want a huge outline around it. Okay, got that. I'm going to set that aside. Then I have my stitch circle, and we can put those tools wherever you decide. It doesn't really matter. I am going to put the grid paper actually on the back of that paper. Sort of matches the grid paper that Stampin' Up! Offers. It's just a different, a little too much glue. Hopefully that's not a bad thing. All right. If you're watching today, let me know where you are. And if you have this set, if you have even noticed it in the catalog, and what kind of cards you plan to make with it. I know not everyone needs Father's Day cards, and that's totally okay. Like I said, you can switch this out to say thank you, or you can switch it out to say you're awesome. And I also wanted to show you really quick. Let's see, I'm gonna put that on there, and then I'm gonna add my tape measure. Let's see. Go up about there. Then on this piece, I'm going to stamp, and this is my brand new memento pad, so I'm very excited that it's still juicy. And we're going to stamp Happy Father's Day on this crushed curry strip. Let's stamp that right in the middle. And then just to add a little bit of interest, use my snips, and I'm gonna cut at an angle. Now some people worry about how to make their angle match on the other side. So what I do is I just take the piece that I snipped off on this side and flip it over to the other end. And you can see that that angle is exactly the same as that one. And you just cut along that line. And your angles will be the same. So it's just a fun little tip on how to do that. Put this one flat. So having those pieces die cut already makes it so easy. And I literally just took the sheet last night and I started die cutting several things. And I thought we can add those however we want. All right, so we have this piece, which is our sentiment and our focal point. The only other thing that I don't have on there is these little nuts and bolts. Let's see how this works out for me. So hopefully you're not, I mean, if you watch me struggle with my ribbons, so you should just watch me struggle with the man cards too. The struggle bus. I am the driver. Last night, I held my card club for January, and we did Perennial Lavender. It is probably the most popular sweet in the catalog. And I'm just going to put these nuts around here. So if you missed Card Club for January, it is still time to sign up for February. We were discussing last night what ladies wanted to do, so stay tuned very soon for that announcement. All right, and then the little screw. So that, I'm not struggling too bad, thank goodness. It's worse when people are standing here watching me, I think. Let's see, where should I put that? We'll just put it right there. All right, so we have all of our tools with our little screws added. And then let's put some dimensionals on the back. I should have picked the big ones because I think the big ones, regular size, would have been easier, but that's okay. Actually, before I fully put that on with dimensionals, let's go ahead and fold our card base. It's 8.5 by 5.5 card base, and then we'll go ahead and put the background layers on, so that way we're not trying to put adhesive on when there are dimensionals on the back. I'll put that on the front. All right, now we're set. Move our dimensional backs. And I'm not sure if you knew, you can remove the back of your dimensionals with, all right. My phone just rang, and I've got my phone on Do Not Disturb, but I hope that it didn't interrupt the signal too much. I apologize for that. And there we have a nice card for man. I do have classic matte dots out, which would also be a nice addition. You can use black, there's basic gray, there's vanilla or white. For this one, actually, I don't think it necessarily needs it, but you know what? I forgot something. Actually, we'll just leave it. My black panel fell off. I had a little strip that I was going to put on the outside. So my original sample looked like this, and this is my other one. I think the black strip adds a little bit, but since I already have it glued down, we're gonna leave it just like it is. All right, so there is card number 1. Father's Day, like I said, you can change that to any occasion that you wish. Sometimes you need a thank you card for a male who is a tool guy. Maybe it's the guy who helps you with your handiwork. Maybe it's your dad. Maybe it's a man from church who helped you do some things. So we're gonna make a note card. I'm gonna use the nuts and bolts piece of paper. I've already got that cut. This one, the one thing I will comment about the dies that go with the paper, the drill is in 2 different pieces. The body of the drill is one piece, and then the actual piece with the drill bit is a separate piece. So I had to glue those flat so that they stayed together. And the die is designed so that if you wanted to have a drill that's red and Lost Lagoon, you can cut those pieces separately. There's a little perforation in it that would make you be able to cut those separate. So just so you know, I had to cut that separately, but the dies did cut that. I have the screws for this one, and then I've also cut a piece of white pegboard, and this is actually what we have in our basement where my husband keeps his tools. If you're watching and you have an opinion, everybody has an opinion, of course, whether you would like to see another Poppy Parade border, like the example, or if you would like me to switch it up and use Lost Lagoon, we can make our card look a little bit different. The tools that I have die cut this time are actually gray granite and Lost Lagoon. So I might go Lost Lagoon unless someone has, I also have a yellow crushed curry. If you have an opinion on which one to use, let me know really quick before I get going. Otherwise, I'm just gonna wing it. All right, this time I'm using just a basic white note card from the note cards and envelopes, which is always a nice go-to. All right, so I'm going to, if I put this directly on this DSP, you won't be able to see the pegs. So I cut a piece of gray granite the size of the pegboard, and I'm going to add some liquid glue to the back of that. So that way there's some, you can actually see the holes. And I'm just going to go around the outside very lightly, because if you put too much glue, that's just going to come through those holes. And we don't want that. You don't have to cover the whole thing, just some light glue strips. Actually, I guess they're not strips, they're little pieces, little areas of glue. All right, if you have an opinion on the color, now's the time to let me know, because I'm about to glue it down. All right, so we have our pegboard. Let's go ahead and put our tools on there. I'm gonna use maybe, let's see, I think I'll hang them neatly, because that's how tools would hang on a pegboard. And a screwdriver would hang upside down on the hook, right? I think so. All right, so let's do that. Oops. Obviously, I don't pay attention to the tool rack very much, or not enough. Okay. We'll hang these guys on their rack. Just like that. Hopefully the liquid glue will hold it. We're gonna hang this guy upside down. All right, so we've got our tools on our toolbar. And once more, I'm gonna struggle with the screws and the bolts. There we go. That one was easy. And I'm just gonna lay those around the side. Willy-nilly. Go willy-nilly. What is your favorite Sale Bration item so far? I'm a little bit torn on mine between, I actually like the Flightnary paper. I'm not a real bird person, but I do like that paper. Let's see. There, and then I'll put this last one, which is a Phillips head screw. Y'all should be proud of me that I know the answer to that I know what kind of screw it is. I like the Flightnary paper, even though it has real birds, real looking birds. But there's not a paper in there that I don't like. I'm always a fan of, thank you, Carrie. I'm always a fan of, where should I put this one? Let's go over here. I probably needed, oh my goodness. Didn't realize it'd be so hard to decide. I'll just make the decision and move on. All right, so we've got some tools. We have some screws. We're gonna go ahead and glue that down. All right, now that y'all are watching, I'm not freaking out, but I'm freaking out. We're gonna put these on here. If you missed the beginning, we're working with the Trusty Tools bundle, and it's $54.75. But if you buy that during Sale Bration, then it is the Trusty Tools paper, which coordinates so nicely. You can get as your free Sale Bration item, and it's perfect for man cards. All right, I am going to stamp the inside of the card. I'm just going to make it a thank you card, or we can leave it blank. Maybe we'll leave this one blank, and it can be any kind of card. It could just be a note for anyone. Maybe we'll do that, because I was going to stamp it before I glued it down, because as I tell my ladies, there's two sides to every paper until you glue it down, and then we've got issues. All right, I'm going to put the pegboard up on dimensionals, so it's up just a little bit, has a little bit more dimension. guess that's why they call them dimensionals. All right, and then again, to take your pick tool, we'll pull those right off. And you can just throw them on your desk like I do. I will clean them up after I'm done here. I wish I could turn my camera around and you could see the chaos of the tables behind me after we had card club last night. All of my stamps need to be cleaned and put away. And I'm just gonna ignore it for now. All right. Ta-da! And then we have, this piece does not have enough glue right there. So I can't really stick my adhesive all the way underneath there. So I'm just gonna put just a drop of glue up here in the corner so that that will lay down. All right, now we can put on our tools. And we have a great little card, just a little note card for a guy. All right, so that's card number 2. Card number 3 is a little bit of a fun fold. And I used my designer series paper just a little bit different on this one. I'm gonna start with a quarter sheet, just a quarter sheet of black, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I have that. And then I'm gonna do a Lost Lagoon panel of the designer series paper. And this is the one where you can see that it looks kind of like paint drying. I'm gonna use that as my panel. But then I have another piece of DSP that I'm going to put just across the bottom. And I want to show you how I did that. I have a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of paper. And this can be done with any designer series paper, and it can be a card front of any kind. But I laid it down, and I have oh my goodness, I have the metric system on my screen, on my grid paper right now. So I am not used to the metric system. So let's just pretend that I'm gonna make a mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 centimeters from the top. And I'm gonna flip it around, and I'm gonna do another 8 centimeters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna make a little pencil mark, and then I'm gonna put that in my trimmer. My trimmer is my most used tool in my craft area. Wish I could say I had a craft room, but my craft area. All right, so I'm gonna put the lines on my trimmer, one there and one there, right on the cutting track, and I'm gonna cut that in half. And it is not exactly half, of course. And so you have 2 pieces that should be just about identical. Since I did metric, it might be a little bit off. But you have 2 pieces that you can use for your card. And actually this one I would probably go this direction. And then you would have another piece. So we have a simple way. Oop. Wait a minute. That doesn't work. Pay attention. Let's try this again. All right. Oh my goodness. I'm having a moment. Here we go. Here we go. All right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All right. We have our card. Other piece. Which other piece? Carrie, which other piece were you talking about there? Oh, you're trying to help me. I am having a moment, like I said, a moment. All right, here we go. There we go. Those 2 match. Holy cow. Well, I'm not sure why that was so hard. Let's just take a breath. Okay, so that's how I did that. I just took half the piece, cut it, and your line could be, you could have more of an angle. It could be more of a corner to corner. It could be entirely up to you. It doesn't really matter which piece you use. I'm gonna go ahead and attach that to the other piece with liquid glue. And the reason that I use liquid glue on the designer series paper is that it has a little bit more wiggle room. So if I mess up, which as you all know, is likely. All right, so we've got this piece. We're gonna go ahead and put this onto our black base. Our card this part of our card is not going to fold. It's going to be flat. So we're going to put that down on our black card base. It's so hard to see when it's flat, and I am not on top of it. All right, so we're going to set that aside for just a second. Now, this is the fun fold part. I have a piece cut that is 3 1/4 by 8 1/2. And then I had, no, it's not. It's 3 by, yeah. It's 3 1/4 by 8 1/2. So just, I cut a piece across the piece of cardstock. We're gonna put the tools, we're gonna use the tools, and I'm gonna put that right on the front. Put that right on the front of the flap. And again, this particular pattern could be used with any designer series paper. It could be floral. It could really be anything that you want it to be. Just change your colors, change your paper, and it looks like a completely different card. All right, I am going to put a white panel on the inside here. This is where you will actually write, and this folded piece is going to get glued right on the front of our card. So let's go ahead and get that done. All right, so I thought that the angle there just added a little bit more interest than if I had done it straight across. All right, one of the stamps in this is, it's all about Dad, and that's great. But I want to show you really quick. Let me grab a different stamp set that coordinates with this, and or at least I don't think it was meant to be, but it does. Hang on just one second. And it's called Best Family Ever. So if you need a card for your Uncle Harold or your Uncle Blake or your brother-in-law Bill or your son Colin or whoever, the words here fit perfectly. Grandpa, husband, nephew, whatever your need is. The Best Family Ever is one of those stamp sets that is so useful. And of course, if you need cards for your Aunt Kristen, then those are there as well. All right, so we are going to stamp Dad on this paper. And one thing that I don't have here right this minute, I didn't put a cushion underneath my grid paper. If you're using a photopolymer stamp, especially one that has big, bold images like this, you want to make sure that it stamps properly. So I'm going to slide my catalog, my Occasions catalog, right underneath here. Usually I keep old retired catalogs here so that I have something underneath, and I forgot to bring those over today. All right, so we're going to stamp Dad on the inside. You're probably wondering, what in the world? Why are we just stamping Dad? But we're going to put the other words on the outside. All right, I'm going to hold that down. This is Lost Lagoon ink. Matches the designer series paper on the front. All right, so we've got Dad. And then I did not cut any screws for this one because I was done with those. But we're going to stamp some in here, and we're going to stamp those gray granite. Let me scoot that up so you can see it. And I'm just going to stamp those across the bottom edge. There's no rhyme or reason. Just right across the bottom. Alright, so then that just gives a little bit more decoration across the bottom of that panel. That might have been otherwise kind of plain. Alright, so then this white panel is going to go on the inside of our little card that's on the front of our card base. There's so many things that you can do with this set and with this bundle and with this paper. It's just awesome. And speaking of awesome, I'm going to say You're the most awesome, and on the inside, Dad. All right. I put my stamps all together and I moved them. Where did I put you're the most awesome? Uh-oh. Maybe I didn't bring it from the counter. All right, well, that's easy. We're just gonna peel this puppy right off my, no we're not. Give me one more second. Take a look at my fun fold while I come right back. What happens when you design on your kitchen counter and then you come over to your table to actually do your lives. All right, I used the perennial postage die. These coordinate with the perennial lavender that we used last night, and these dies happen to be on my table, so I was like, these are perfect. You're the most awesome fits right in here. I'm gonna put it up just a little bit. Stamp that right there. Hold that down just so the ink transfers nicely. All right, and then we're gonna put that right on the front flap of the foldy part. But you don't want to put the glue all the way down this side. We're gonna put it all the way over here so that we have a space that sticks off. Because being centered is highly overrated, and that way you can put it wherever you want and no one will even know that you didn't get it centered because it doesn't look like it's supposed to be. Then we're going to take some of the classic matte dots and I'm just going to put some of those across the bottom. I use about 3 right here on our tag. All right, and just like that, we have you're the most awesome dad. You're the most awesome uncle. You're the most awesome whoever might be in your life that you need a card for. So we have our 3 cards from today. We have our awesome dad. We have our note card that could be a thank you or a regular card. And we have our Happy Father's Day card. I hope that you enjoyed the Trusty tools today. Next Tuesday, I will be back with another Sale Bration item. I do appreciate that you watched today. Thank you so much. If you place a $35 order in my website, I will send you these card kits for free. If you place a $50 order, you will receive the card kits, a free Sale Bration item. So if you order the Trusty Tools kit, you would get the paper and the cards already ready for you, along with the pieces, and a free, I can't even talk, a package of classic matte dots that you can use on your cards. So place your order by Sunday, February 4th, I believe is Sunday, and you'll qualify for that. Otherwise, next Tuesday, I will see you back here. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.